Whata?
And g'day viewers, I'm Michael.
And I'm Janet, and welcome to this week's episode about frenemies, when friends become detractors.
In a world where friendships can turn sour, don't let frenemies hold you back. When friends become detractors, we will show you how to protect your peace and positivity.
We discuss how to surround yourself with true allies who lift you higher and provide the tools and support you need to flourish.
So if you want to learn how to deal with frenemies and say hello to a brighter, friendlier future, listen up.
Whata?
And g'day, I'm Michael.
And I'm Janet, and welcome to this week's episode about Frenemy Fire, when friends become detractors.
So previously we covered the RSL of friendship in an earlier podcast where we also discussed how friendship can be a beautiful bond built on trust, understanding and support. Friends share the ups, the downs, fun, laughter, joy, and you're there for each other when you're in need. And sometimes you even share secrets. And sometimes you have friends that tell you this is a secret. And then you find out from all the other friends that he's told them too. So it wasn't really a secret.
Well, it's a shared secret. However, in the complex landscape of human relationships, there exists the phenomenon known as frenemies, a strange mix of friends and enemies. Frenemies are people who present themselves as friends, but underneath the surface harbour feelings of envy, competition or resentment, which can lead them to act as detractors rather than supporters.
Or they're the other kind who actually are friends, but they have difficulties in supporting you when you step outside the box of their conventions or their beliefs. Or you simply try something that's just different and you try to stand out. And I was reminded of this recently when an old mate of mine made a disparaging comment about what Janet and I do. And while I took it like water off a duck's back, it did have an initial sting to it.
The concept of frenemies is not new. It's been seen throughout history and literature.
In many cases, frenemies can be traced back to feelings of jealousy or insecurity. They may find it challenging to genuinely celebrate your successes, as it serves as a painful reminder of their perceived shortcomings. And as a result, they might resort to passive-aggressive behaviour, backhanded compliments, or even sabotage to undermine your achievements.
Aussies are great at lots of things, and friendship is one of them. We are famed for our mateship and camaraderie. We are also not so great at friendship when it comes to supporting mates who choose a different way or path, as Mitch mentioned earlier, or who are chasing their success of a dream or a goal or a new biz or a startup. A few years back, I was giving a talk at a library in the Boston area, and I remember at question time, a guy in the audience saying how excited he was to hear the Aussie accent again, as he'd been living in the US for the past 40 years. He also asked if the tall poppy syndrome was still as prevalent as when he left Australia in the 70s. And I had to admit it's as strong and prevalent as ever.
Sure is. And perhaps even more so with the advent of social media. In an era where everyone's lives, pretty much everyone's, are on display, envy can easily take root as individuals compare their own lives to the seemingly perfect reels and filtered versions of their friends' lives online. It's the highlights reels, really, isn't it, sometimes? And this constant comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy and resentment, fueling frenemy fire. People can just ogle and judge and slander from the safety of their own screen and tap out their commentary with ease and no consequence. They may think their actions are non-consequential. However, looking at the devastation caused by online bullying, we know that's not the case.
One of the most challenging aspects of dealing with frenemies is the deception involved. Unlike other adversaries, frenemies camouflage their negative feelings behind a facade of friendship. They might put on a smile and offer seemingly kind words, but their true intentions lie hidden, creating an emotional minefield for their unsuspecting friends. Another method used for frenemy fire is total silence. You know, when people are aware of what others are doing or pursuing, and they're tight-lipped and silent about it. That silence can be deafening if you let it be. The key to coping with the silence here is to not become attached to thought lines that you'll be having like, why aren't they interested or asking about the elephant in the room? Well, there could be many reasons. They may perceive whatever you are doing or pursuing cringeworthy, and that's okay. Let them cringe away. They may not share your interest or passion in whatever you're pursuing, and that's okay. Each to their own. Life would be boring if we all had the same passions and interests. Variety is the spice and flavour of life.
Some people may have deep-seated objections, prejudices or fears around what you are choosing to be, do or have. And that's completely okay. Let them hang on to their own opinions. Remember this truism: what other people think about me is none of my business. And a valuable lesson to learn as soon as possible is that your circle of friends may never be true supporters of your endeavours. And that's okay too. At times like this, it's really good to revisit the fable of the little red hen. Get a hold of a copy and you'll be reminded of the importance of depending on yourself to get the results that you desire.
Handling frenemies can be emotionally draining and a bit confusing. When the realisation dawns that a friend is not as supportive as they appeared to be, it can evoke a mix of emotions, including sadness, anger and betrayal. Confronting the situation is often difficult, as it requires facing the uncomfortable truth and potentially risking the friendship altogether, which is a call that you may have to make.
So how do you develop some strategies for armour around Frenemy Fire?
Just Teflon up.
Love that. Be like the duck. Just flick the water off, and sometimes it may sting.
Water off a duck's back.
But
sometimes
just Teflon
a little
up.
bit of acid.
Yeah.
We mentioned in a previous podcast the Arnie approach to his naysayers and detractors. Mickey, what is it?
He says, fuck them all.
You don't need to use that language if it doesn't suit you. However, do Teflon up. And by that, we mean don't let shit stick. Build your resilience muscle by working on your self-image and your inner strength. And as Mitch mentioned earlier, if people really are firing up with hate and vitriol, get away from them and sever any ties, both physically and digitally. You don't need that input in your life.
No, you sure don't. So if you're in a circle of friends and not supportive of your endeavours, where do you find like-minded souls? Well, you can reach out to groups both online and in person that share your passions and hobbies. Attend live events that centre around your interests, and you'll be sure to meet people who will be happy to encourage and support your efforts and heart's desires. And when friends become detractors, it really can lead to emotional turmoil and a loss of trust. But understanding the dynamics of frenemies, being honest about our own feelings, and setting boundaries are crucial steps in navigating these complex relationships. And ultimately, fostering genuine, supportive relationships and friendships based on trust and mutual respect, well, that's the key to building strong and fulfilling lives.
And remember, don't take any of life's pursuits too personally or too seriously. No one gets out alive in the end anyway.
How true is that?
We both encourage you to pursue your heart's desires and know that there will be the right people to help you out along the way. So that when you do get to the end of your life, you can say one of my favourite sayings by Irma Bombeck. When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I have not a single bit of talent left, and I can say, I used everything you gave me. Until next time, love and blessings.
See ya.